Well, hello, everybody. It's me, your girl, Erica, and as promised, I am here to do some movie reviews. Today, I am going to be reviewing some of my personal favorite and not so favorite horror films of 2024. Now, as that suggests, I am only going to be reviewing films that came out in 2024, not movies that I watched in 2024 that have a different, date that they came out. Just films that came out in 2024. So with that said, we're just going to get started. Actually, no, I'm going to go back real quick. I'm just going to go over, remember, these are my opinions on the films, not yours, not your cousins, your uncles, your, whoever's. No, these are mine, and we all have different opinions. That's what makes art so incredible, is that there is something for everybody. So if you don't like my opinions, that's okay. All right, just move on. So first up, we are going to do actually one of my favorites from the year, which I know got a lot of mixed reviews. But personally, I loved the movie Longlegs. I loved everything about it. I love that type of cinematography. I love the eerie feeling that it captured from start to finish, that kind of like just grungy feeling that sits in you throughout. I actually really enjoy that when a film is able to pull that off. I love that vintage kind of look, and obviously with Longlegs, this one takes place either in the 70s or the 90s, depending on the time of the film, and that's just right up my alley. I love everything, about that kind of cinematography. Obviously, the acting was phenomenal. I thought everybody in it did a fantastic job. Yes, I am a fan of Nicolas Cage. I like even his shitty movies. I will pretty much watch anything that has Nicolas Cage. But everyone else, in my opinion, did stand out, like acting in this. So yeah, definitely if you are into kind of like a slow burn, that gritty, dirty feel, you like, more of that vintage style filming, you'll probably really enjoy this. If you're more, I want jump scares and, slasher, stuff like that, whatever, it's not going to be for you. This is a psychological, kind of just fuck with your head, gritty vibe, which I love that. So me personally, I gave Longlegs an 8 out of 10. I have watched it already a second time. I actually recommend that one for a second viewing. Now, obviously, if you've already seen the film and you disliked it, like you really just didn't like it, I'm not going to ask you to go watch it again. You probably won't like it. But if you did enjoy it or kind of were on the fence the first time that you watched it, then I definitely recommend you go in and do a second viewing, because you will see so many other things that you missed the first time. One of the things that I actually really like is that the director wanted you to see it without knowing. So there's actually, I think it's like 12 different times that there is a demon figure off in the background, and your brain kind of picks up on it and it has that eerie feeling, but you don't know that you did it. So the second time around, I actually had a list pulled up of every time the demon came in so I could be looking for it. And sure enough, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that I seen that the first time. So definitely recommend going into Longlegs a second viewing. So 8 out of 10 for me and Longlegs. All right, moving on. My next probably favorite of 2024 is a French film that is called Mads. Mads, I'm just going to roll a joint, so hopefully that doesn't bother anyone. All right, so Mads is a French film that, in my opinion, is probably it is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best of 2024, but it also is up there for just the best in several years, in my opinion, for the creativity. The acting was incredible. This film was literally shot in one take. Yeah, like they just turned the cameras on and didn't shut them off until their film was done. And that alone is quite an impressive feat. So Again, this is French, so unless you're super cool and you speak French, you'll have to read subtitles. This doesn't bother me. As I have said, I prefer foreign films over American films. I also enjoy having the subtitles on for movies anyway, because one, you do catch things that you're going to miss. And number two, I love hearing the sounds that they give to things. Especially in horror movies, it can be really fun. It'll be like blood slopping in the background, and you're like, all right, I like that, But anyway, so back on. So Mads, I'm telling you, if you enjoy just a fun experience and are looking for something to put on, if you kind of like enjoy zombies, I don't want to say that they are, but it kind of has that vibe. I definitely suggest putting that one on. I really feel that anyone that watches it should be entertained. If nothing else, go into it as watching these people do a phenomenal job at acting. Like I said, I mean, literally starting and not stopping until the film's done. Just one take. No breaks, no retakes, no anything. Just we're starting and you can't fuck up. That, in my opinion, right there deserves respect in watching it. So I gave Mads 8 out of 10 as well. Personally, I have not watched it twice already because I just watched it the first time like probably about a week ago, actually. It was one of my last viewings of the year. But I can tell you that I am already super, super stoked to go back into it a second time and just watch it solely for, now that I know everything that happens and I know the end, and I am just going to watch it solely for the performances, and I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, so we've got Longlegs and Mads as my top two of the year. So those both got an 8 out of 10 from me, and like I said, are my two favorite of 2024. So, all right, now let's move on. The rest on my list, I'm just going to go down the list that I wrote them. So these are not in any particular order. They are just how I wrote them down. So let's get going. All right. Next on my list, all right, is House of Spoils. So House of Spoils, it's a film that definitely works better if you just go into it not expecting anything phenomenal. If you go into it just expecting, a decent film, a decent watch, something, just kind of pass a couple hours of your day, you'll probably be, happy with it. I know I was. But again, if you go into it going, this is going to be a cinematographic masterpiece, you're probably going to come out of it going, that wasn't really that great. The acting is decent. I mean, obviously, no, it's nothing like to write home about or anything, but it is decent and they do very well with it. So yeah, if you're just looking for a film, like for a fun movie night, that kind of thing, absolutely. That one gets a 5.5 out of 10 from me. Probably wouldn't rewatch it. Not that, again, I didn't dislike, but there's so many other movies out there, and if I'm going to rewatch a movie, it's probably going to be a movie that I really enjoy. For whatever reason, I've watched shit films again because I enjoyed, just laughing at how shit it is. So it really just depends on me. So all right. Next on my list is Humane. So Humane, I enjoyed. For the most part, it definitely had some frustrating characters in it. One of the things that I do, I don't do the best at is frustrating and annoying characters. So once we get into that, I usually am screaming, at my TV screen, telling them how stupid they are. I'm like, I just want to watch you die. that kind of stuff. So this movie definitely had, excuse me, definitely had some frustrating and irritating people. However, with that said, I did find the movie still watchable. It, had enough going on to where those people didn't full on ruin the film for me. Like in some movies that I even have on this list coming up. So, all right, that's Humane. That's number 4 on our list. All right, that one I also gave a 5.5 out of 10. So, like I said, nothing phenomenal, nothing, that you're probably going to watch and be like, oh my gosh, this is a new favorite of mine. But I don't think you're going to watch it and be like, this is the worst film that I've ever seen. And if you do, then you probably haven't watched hardly any films at all. All right, so moving on. All right, number 5 on my list is a campy, fun film. This one is just for the campy aspects. It's not like the acting is phenomenal. It's not the worst by any means. Trust me, I've seen, whoa, holy shit. But it is called All My Friends Are Dead, and it actually is abbreviated in front of that, so AMFAD, All of My Friends Are Dead. And it is definitely the kind of film that you watch only when you're in the mood for something silly, lighthearted, don't take it seriously. It doesn't, which is why it does work for me. When I go into that type of film, if it tries to take itself too seriously, you ruin it, in my opinion, but if you know the type of film that you're making and you play off that the whole time, then I think it can go over quite well. And in this film, in my opinion, it does. Like I said, the acting is fine. There's nothing, no, I'm not blown away by it by any means, but it's not atrocious. It doesn't stop anything. It doesn't stop your enjoyment from the film. So like I said, go into that one if you're just looking for a goofy, casual, fun watch. You're like, oh, I just want to, put on something tonight. That one I also gave a 5.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's not groundbreaking. It's kind of been done before, but it's fun, All right, moving on. Number 6 on my list is actually a very creepy, slow burn kind of film. And it is definitely more of a folklore type film. So if you are really not into folklore, I would probably skip this one. If you do enjoy like a darker cinematography and that creepy vibe and that folklore atmosphere, I would definitely check this one out. It is called, and while it has kind of an interesting name, it is actually a good movie. It is called Daddy's Head. And basically this film is it's about a young boy and a woman. It's his stepmom, and his father, her husband, dies in the very beginning, and kind of all of a sudden this boy starts seeing this creature that kind of has his father's head, which is the daddy's head part, but, kind of like this other form body thing. Like I said, it is very folklore. I do like those types of films, though. So I did enjoy it. But like I said, this is not one that, you're going to see a lot of, like, gore or craziness. It just kind of is for the most part, it's not super slow. Like I said, I was never bored. I was never like, oh, come on, get on with the story. It's paced nicely throughout. It's not a long film, so it doesn't, in my opinion, it's as long as it needs to be. This one, I gave a solid 6 out of 10. I don't know if I would watch it again, but again, there's not a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of movies on repeat. So, but I am definitely glad that I did watch this film. I really enjoyed it. And I did actually really like, it does have a very creepy atmosphere throughout the entire thing. So, yeah. Next on my list at number 7 is Oddity. So Oddity, I really enjoyed. It definitely is a film that really goes off of its atmosphere. It does have a few solid jump scares. It did get me a few times. And for a lot of the films that I have on here, it's one that does have some jump scares. The thing about Oddity that, because I gave Oddity a 6.5 out of 10. And the reason for that rating, in my opinion, was I did guess like where the film was going. Like nothing was, new or, wow to me. Like I was like, oh, I think this, and this happened. And it is. So I did guess, everything about it. So for me, it was predictable in that way. However, I still gave it, like I said, a 6.5 out of 7 because it is well done. And I did enjoy the acting performances. I loved the atmosphere of it. And I probably would watch it again. And I would watch it again more for wanting to catch things that I didn't catch the first time. All right. So yeah, Oddity, atmosphere was very enjoyable. I would definitely check it out. All right. My only sequel on the list, and it is Smile 2. I gave a 7 out of 10. I did really enjoy it. I feel it was a fantastic sequel to the first one. It is one that I do recommend. Like some sequels, you do not have to watch the first one. This is one that I do recommend watching the first one first if you have not seen it, because it does do a continuation. Smile 2 starts as soon as Smile 1 ends, for the most part. So watching the second one first would, first off, kind of confuse you in the beginning, and number 2, ruin the end of the first one for you. All right. So, like I said, the only sequel that I do have on my list. The acting is definitely done very well. I will tell you that I did really enjoy, I thought that Smile 2 did a great job of capturing the descent into badness, without it being ever overly confusing or what the fuck is going on, type vibe, like some movies that I've watched. So yeah, I definitely, if you enjoyed the first Smile, if you watched Smile and you liked it, I don't know why you wouldn't like the second one. If you did not like the first Smile, I still recommend going into this one because it does offer some different things. So yeah, definitely, I thought this was a good, strong sequel to the first one. I would definitely watch it again. Look forward to probably, a third installment. So yeah, like I said, I give Smile 2 a 7 out of 10. All right, moving on. This is the one that I said will differ from probably a lot of other people's reviews. It actually gets a pretty high review on IMDb. All right, so the movie for me that is honestly in my bottom 2 for 2024 is the American remake of Speak No Evil. All right. I know a lot of people enjoyed this film. I actually watched, I saw the first Speak No Evil right after it came out, so even before the American remake was a thing. I hated it. The only thing that I gave the remake for redeeming is that I actually do like the remake more than the original, which is extremely, extremely rare for me to give the American remake a bump over. But the reason for that is, at least in the American remake, the victims fight back. But I've got to be honest. So these types of movies just are not, they're just not my types of movies. So if I am more frustrated, if I am like just screaming, if I don't like anyone in the movie, like I don't like the good ones, I don't like the bad ones, to me, there's nothing else for this film for me to enjoy. I don't watch movies for me to like feel really overly frustrated and, pissed off. So there has to be something for me, some redeeming qualities. And you can be like, there is a lot of films that I love where there is no good ending and the bad people but for me, there is still something about that bad person that I enjoy watching. And unfortunately for me, with Speak No Evil, there is not that. I don't like any of the characters in it. The amount of bad decisions that are made in this film is just atrocious. I mean, these people literally just go out to a family they don't know at all with their child, leave their child at this house with another random man to go out to eat, like their child sleeping with these people when they're pretty much naked, they stay. The bad people are like, horribly abusing this child that they have. And they just are like, we can't leave, it'd be rude. No, what the fuck do you mean it'd be rude? So for me, like I said, the only redeeming quality of the American remake of Speak No Evil is that at least the victims in this one do somewhat fight back. So unfortunately, this movie only gets a 4.5 out of a 10 for me. Like I said, I know that most people did enjoy it. I want to say the remake gets like a 6.8 or something on IMDb or whatever. I don't know. It's a no for me. All right, moving on. Now that I have shit talked that one enough. All right. So moving on was a very independent film that came out called The Substance. So The Substance I did enjoy. It gets a solid 7 out of 10 for me. And honestly, what's funny is I'm very mixed with this film. It is made like absolutely beautifully. Every scene in the film, the way that it is shot, the way the color, it is done with precise thought, meaning. Demi Moore's performance is phenomenal. In my opinion, she is the shining nod of that film. They had a lot of subtle nods to other films that I loved. Everything does feel very intentional. Like I said, every shot, you're like, it had a purpose. And so for that, it was stunning. It was a beautiful watch. That said, obviously I do have my dislikes with the film. Ironically, what is, ironic, is that one of the things that I didn't care for in the movie technically does make complete sense within the context of the story of what would happen. It just, for me, in my mind, I would have just loved to see both of those women, work together to, take out that toxic man, and the thoughts that women have as they, especially as we get older. But instead, and that's what I'm saying, that's why I said it does make sense, because that's what the whole film is about. So I understand in the context of that instead you just destroy each other, because that's what a lot of us as women do, is that we constantly are destroying our own selves. We are our own, worst enemy. But like I said, for me, I just wanted to see Dennis Quaid's character like fucking just get it, But anyway, the point is that even with anything, I still found the movie stunning to watch. And I really, really, really enjoyed how it particularly highlights the struggles and experiences of women, both young and not so young. So it definitely struck, some personal chords with me, made me reflect on things that I've actually dealt with in my life. I still haven't made up if, I'm unsure if I'll rewatch it, and probably will. I probably will. So never mind, I just made up my mind. I'll rewatch it. So I just gave this one, definitely a solid 7 out of 10. Who knows? Maybe when I rewatch it, I'll be like, guess what, bitches? I changed my mind, which I'm always able to do, by the way. All right. We have 3 more films to go. So next up on the list is just a super fun watch. I want to be very, very for real with you. This only gets a 5 out of 10 from me. It is not anything amazing by any means. It is a film called Under Paris. Under Paris, for me, was a movie that I enjoyed just for the fact that I got to watch a lot of sharks eat human beings. And I find that highly enjoyable. So if, you like going into movies and watching, humans, just be consumed by sharks or, other crazy creatures, then you will probably enjoy this one. Like I said, is the acting phenomenal? No. Is the movie something to write home about? Nah. Is it something you'll probably find as your new favorite film? Absolutely not. However, if you're looking for a fun, just something to pass the time, laugh at, make fun of humans getting consumed by sharks because they're stupid, humans that is, then I would check out Under Paris. Like I said, I gave that a 5 out of 10. All right, 2 more to go. Next up on my list is, probably my least favorite horror film of 2024. And it is because of the frustratingly poor decisions that happen throughout, and that would be The Strangers Chapter 1. Now, if you ever watched the original, The Strangers, that one is a very, dark, gloomy, story. I was never a huge fan of it. Again, you have to, if you're going to give me a movie that deals with that kind of thing, then I want something that's I want something. All right. So that I personally go with. And the thing with The Strangers Chapter 1 is there's none of that. The couple in this one, they don't make one smart choice, really. There is one particular moment in this film where the main, female, she's by herself at the house because her boyfriend's, left to go and get something out of their car by using, someone else and, whatever. Anyway, so she's there at this house by herself, and the phone works. The phone works. It works. There's nothing wrong with the phone, all right? It's charged. There's service. This motherfucking thing works. And she has it, and people come into the house, obviously, and they're fucking with her, whatever. And she runs into this closet, and she just sits there with her phone in her handy, working phone, and just cries. She never contacts anyone. She doesn't try. She doesn't do anything. She just holds a perfectly working phone and sits in a closet and cries. And that's pretty much just kind of how this film goes. So I gave The Strangers Chapter 1 a 4.5 out of 10. So yeah, unless you really enjoy yelling at characters for every decision that they make, I would probably skip this one. All right. The last one on my list is Don't Move. So Don't Move is definitely has a lot of thriller in it. It kept the suspense high from, start to finish. That was something that I enjoyed. The movie was exactly the length that it needed to be. It was solid. Like I said, I thought the acting was really good in it. It pretty much only has, two people throughout the film, and they both carry it really well. Never fucking bored, which is a good thing for me. So yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think it's good for the fans of anything like in that genre. If you enjoy, like I said, a film that just kind of starts and goes, never really gives up, has a good tension to it, I would check that one out for show. So there is 13 films from me. And yeah, that is, like I said, my opinions and my opinions alone on the films. If you have seen any of the movies that I went over today, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Obviously, please, in a nice way. And I'll be nice back to you, okay? Like, if you go, oh my God, Speak No Evil was my favorite film of all time, I will do everything I can to not be a dick to you. No, I will not be an asshole by any means if your opinions change than mine. So, all right. So, like I said, if you've seen them, let me know. If you haven't, check them out, and then let me know. If you have any films from 2024 that you think that I should check out and want to know if I've seen, let me know. All right. As always, thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble, and I will see you guys later.